Shalom, shalom. This is Kapaya, aka Pops, out of GMS Chicago, with a brief and another sit down. Before I get started, though, like always, I want to send all praises, honor, and glory out to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kakodash. To the apostles and elders of GMS out of New York, elder bishops out of Connecticut, I want to send double honors because they do rule well. For the brethren around the world, pushing truth uncut, unfiltered, giving you the good, the bad, and the ugly. The scriptures correctly breaking down the prophecies and interaction with the people of the planet, sending hearty salutations. For the hopeful elect, I hope this is edifying and an exhortation for you to understand and see that there's nothing that is going on in the scriptures that hasn't been prophesied and told beforehand. And as men of the Lord, the hopeful elect, all we're doing is reporting those things and bringing them up to date in current terms and terminologies that can be understood today. So with that being gone, you see that this is the AI overview. I asked what was the economic problem that started World War II? And it says the economic crisis of the Great Depression and the aftermath of World War One. So World War II was led from the aftermath of World War One. Okay, so the economic situation didn't get better, and it was just a matter of time and years before it would pick back up and jump off again. Okay, so here it is. And the aftermath of World War One, including the harsh Treaty of Versailles imposed on Germany. So there was a treaty that was imposed upon Germany that made the German economy take quite an economic hit. Okay, created instability and fueled the rise of extremist ideologies that ultimately led to World War II. Here's a more detailed look. The Great Depression, the economic collapse of the 30s triggered by the 1929 stock market crash, created widespread hardship and desperation, especially in Germany and other parts of Europe. The economic downturn led to high unemployment, bank failures, and a loss of faith in democratic governments. Germany, burdened by crippling war debts and reparations mandated by the Treaty of Versailles, was particularly vulnerable. The treaty, which blamed Germany for the war and demanded extensive reparation payments, further destabilized the German economy and contributed to social unrest. Now, everybody was blaming Germany, but what was Germany's part in World War One? I'm gonna hold this. Let me open up another tab. Let's go ahead and deal with this. New tab. What was Germany's? Okay, hold on. Excuse me. Okay, so the question that I asked in this new one was, what was Germany's part in World War One? Germany was a leader of the Central Powers during World War One, fighting against the Allies on multiple fronts. How Germany entered the war. Germany's ally, Austria-Hungary, declared war on Serbia, which drew Germany into the war. Germany's military strategy was called the Sutton Plan, named after German Field Marshal Alfred von Shetland. Germany invaded France through neutral Belgium and fought Russia in the east. Germany's war efforts. Germany's submarines gave them an advantage in the North Sea. Germany's Air Force offered a psychological advantage. Germany's chemist Fritz Haber developed a process to make explosives from air, making Germany self-sufficient in explosives. Germany's defeat in the war led to Germany's revolution of 18, 19, 1918, 1919, overthrew the monarchy and established the Weimar Republic. The war became global due to the involvement of countries from around the world. Okay, so now that's the part that he played in World War One. But because he played that part, what happened in World War Two? Okay, this is we're gonna pick it up at the German economic distress. Okay, that's why I left off. Germany's burdened by crippling war debts and reparations mandated by the treaties of Versailles. So after World War One, they was told that they had to pay for a lot of this. Okay, but Germany, if you remember now, Germany was drawn into that war. They were drawn in. They didn't go out and actively seek and look for a war. An ally drew them into the war. The same way you've got now in this last thing that we be telling you that Israel is going to draw America into the war. Okay, because it's a little long. It's a little long state that's over there in Western Asia, what the world wants to call the Middle East now, and it's going to draw people in. Okay, so Germany, burdened by crippling war debts and reparations mandated by the Treaty of Versailles, was particularly vulnerable. The treaty, which blamed Germany for the war, see, they blamed Germany, but Germany was drawn into the war. Okay, which blamed Germany for the war and demanded extensive reparation payments, further destabilized the German economy and contributed to social unrest. So who was blaming the Germans? Okay, who was blaming the Germans? Is the question. Okay, we already know who that is. The small hats. Okay, the economic hardship and political instability that followed the Great Depression created an environment conducive to the rise of extremist ideologies such as Nazism in Germany. Nazi leaders exploited the widespread discontent and promised to return to economic stability and national glory, gaining significant support. The new regimes in Germany and other Axis powers adopted aggressive economic policies aimed at rearmament and territorial expansion. These policies included increased military spending, aggressive trade policies, and resource acquisition, which further strained international relations and ultimately led to war. Don't all this sound familiar? Hold on. Isn't all of this sounding familiar now? So it's always an economic thing. So now let's go over here. It's an economic thing, right? It's always an economic thing. So when we tell y'all that, then it's like this is the jump off point of what this is going to be. Hold on.
Everybody be asking me, man, does the Bluetooth actually work? Bro, you get a month for free. The products that will go into effect. In a significant escalation to a lingering trade war with Canada, President Donald Trump has doubled his planned tariff on all steel and aluminium products coming into the U.S. from Canada, bringing the total to 50%. The tit-for-tat move comes in response to the province of Ontario placing a 25% tariff on electricity coming into the U.S. In a post on Truth Social, Trump says he has instructed his Commerce Secretary to add an additional 25% tariff on the products that will go into effect.
So economic tariffs on each other and things of this nature. But Canada is supposed to be one of America's biggest allies, but that's not the case now. So this isn't nothing new. So let's go with that. Let's go get that. Let's start with that as a scripture. Start with that as a scripture. 7 and 10. Let's see. No. Let's see if it'll work. Let me see. I'm looking for something here. Guess it'll work. Let's see. No. Hold on. I'm going to find it. Give me 1 second. Okay, so this is Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. The thing that has been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. All of these tactics are tactics that have been used before. So there's nothing new under the sun. All of this has always stemmed from economic attrition between countries. It always kicks off like that. Oh, and we had 2 major wars behind it, and now we see the same thing starting again. So there's nothing new under the sun, and the economic atmosphere is what's going to kick off this as well. Okay.
Products that will go into effect. The US president has also threatened to substantially increase tariffs on cars coming into the US on April 2nd if other long-time tariffs are not likewise dropped by Canada. He also revived threats that the country will become US's 51st state. And for the latest, let's talk to our correspondent, Susan Teherani, who's joining us live from New York.
That was 12 hours ago. Let's go back in here and look at this. Let's look at this.
Instead of refinancing your home or messing with your
and you always got all these
mortgage, there is a better solution. If you need cash now,
got all these commercials. You can't,
on the market
you can't even go and try to do a decent sit down without having to fight through all of these commercials now. You gotta fight through all these commercials. Okay. Now. Now, that was 12 hours.
We've been hearing a lot about trade tensions ever since
let's see what we got.
Trump came to the Oval Office. In the latest US-Canada trade tensions took a dramatic turn as President Trump reversed his decision just hours after imposing them. And this was a decision on double tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminium up to 50%. And just hours later, he announced that he will not be going forward with that. Now, instead, the White House confirmed that a 25% tariff is all that will apply to all steel and aluminium imports from Canada, including those from Canada with no exemptions. Now, the sudden policy...
Okay, so now... what is this? The man done doubled down and changed his mind. See what I'm saying? So now, the scripture on that is this. Okay, this is James 1 and 8. It says, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Look at the economic policies that this man is saying he wants to do. And he's the so-called president of the world, right? He's the president of the United States, which is supposed to be one of the strongest nations in the world. And he's taking economic policies and spitting off and spewing off. That's this man's pride. So what? No harm, no foul. You just threatened this, said that, and all this other kind of stuff. And made these men have to harden their hearts against you. And you want to know why they go turn on you? Let me go. Obadiah. Verse 6 and 7. Obadiah 1, 6 and 7. How are the things that Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? It's found out and made plain through the scriptures. Verse 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. This man is just flip flopping between policies like this, and he's showing the world that he's unstable. And as he shows that he's unstable, the world is going to turn against him, his policy, and the country that he represents. Okay, and this is what you see happening now. Okay. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. So he's showing that he doesn't have understanding. Shall not in that day, says Yahweh, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount or the kingdom of Esau. So this is Edomites worldwide, but it's especially here in America. Okay? Because Russia's going to drop nukes on this place, which is going to basically, we're talking that in the MOTB, is basically going to be the pulling down point of them, because when they do that, the standards got to go up. The elect of Israel, the ones that are meant to be the elected of Israel, they're going to have to be saved, and in the process, Esau's going to have to be pulled out of power at that time. So all this is to set up, just as Esau pulling himself out of power under the will of Yahweh, why Yahweh Shah in the first place. Okay? So, one more set of scriptures. Like I said, I don't have to make this long because it's pretty simple. Okay. Woe to, verse 4, 2 Ezra 15 started 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, swords in their hand. And we're looking at Edomites against Edomites. So that's a nation, which is basically a people of nations, which is the Edomites being divided among themselves. For the sword and their destruction draw nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords drawn in their hand. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their king nor princes, the course of their actions stand in their power. Okay? So these people are that. And you've got this happening. And these people are squaring off. And they declare economic genocide against each other, which is just making the whole scenario unstable. Which Kahaloya Yahweh Bashim Shai, which means that the Israelite nation is raising up, and the word that's being spoken and put out here on the airwaves is not going to come back void. So it's because the prophets are saying these words and putting them in the airways where people can hear them. They have power that's hooked behind them, because the Lord said that he was going to give his word power. Okay? And it shall fulfill what it is. He says, shall not come back void. It shall fulfill that which is sent forth to do. So this is it. This is what you see happening. And it's being stirred up and twisted up in the process. So I hope that that's edifying. A few scriptures, some world news, all mixed in together, showing that the world is falling into the Maker's hand. Ain't falling in, is being governed and being ran by the Maker, Yahweh Shai, the entire time. So with that, I hope that's edifying. I want to send all praises, honor, and glory out to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Kakwadash, to the apostles and elders of GMS out of New York. Again, double honors. They do real well. For the hopeful elect, I hope that's edifying and exhilarating. And a hearty shalom for all of the hopeful elect and for the rest of the world, a Baba Ball.